Hello, BookTube. Are we ready for another shelf of biography? Whole other collection of dead people. We'll start this one with a great big biography of Edmund Spenser. This is by Andrew Hadfield, and it is enormous, and I loved it. I am a big fan of the forgotten Edmund Spenser. I'm also a big fan of Philip Sidney. I love their life stories. I love their poetry. And this is the best Spenser biography that it is we're ever likely to see. So I highly recommend it if you're interested, but you won't be. And then we have, speak of the devil, Sir Philip Sidney. This is by Catherine Duncan Jones, the great Shakespeare scholar. She did this biography that's, what is this, 30 years old now? 1991. Good Lord. It's old, but it's still the best one. It's tremendously good. I've heard rumors that a big Philip Sidney biography is coming in 2017. I haven't seen any hint of that, so it might not be true. But I look forward to it. If it does, it has a high standard to beat. Then a book we've seen on this channel before. This is Hume, An Intellectual History. This is a thinking and writing biography of David Hume that it expands into the the political and the social aspects of his life, but it sticks mainly with his life of the mind. And then this big thing, look at this. Faisal of Iraq, by Ali Alawi. This is a gigantic biography of a pivotal figure in Middle Eastern history that is, he's a bit player in the louder British histories of the era, including the great Seven Pillars of Wisdom by Lawrence of Arabia. And this is the first soup to nuts, really good, comprehensive biography of him in English. And I loved it. Then we have a reprint. This is by Anne-Marie Eddy. I think that's how you say it. This is Saladin. Reprint of a great older biography of Saladin that's just fantastic. Puts him in context and lays out his uniqueness for readers who only know him as a name connected with the Crusades. There's actually a lot more to him than that. Then we have another paperback reprint. This is The Marquis. This is by Laura Oraccio. This is a book about the Marquis de Lafayette, and it has, if I remember correctly, a very sexy blurb. Robust, hugely satisfying, spirited, and entirely accurate. The book follows Lafayette's life and career with greater sympathy and in greater detail than any previous account in English that I know of, and the infectious zest of her character descriptions is by no means limited to her illustrious hero. That's from Open Letters Monthly. Quite sexy. Then we have a strange one, a strange biography. This is Sebastian de Grazia. This is Machiavelli in Hell. His biography of Machiavelli, but it's surrealistic. You wouldn't go to this as your first Machiavelli book. It would be a mistake. And yet, it's astonishing. It's astonishingly good. You have to know about Machiavelli and his times and his writing in order to get anything out of it at all. But if you do, it's a masterpiece. I can't praise it high enough. Let's see here. Where are we going to go now? Next is this. This is by David Schoenbaum. This is Triumphant in Paris, The Exploits of Benjamin Franklin, in his capacity overseas that a lot of Americans don't know. They don't know enough about. I have a few Franklin biographies, and the odd pattern that they have followed is that they are all fragment biographies. They all do something like this. They deal with a slice of his life rather than the whole thing. I don't know why that is. I've never quite found a soup to nuts, birth to death biography of Franklin satisfying, and I don't know why. I think taking fractions of his life brings out the best in his biographers. I don't know. And we have another fraction of a life approach. This is Herbert Hoover in the White House by Charles Rappleye. It deals with Hoover's past in the business world, and it looks forward to his incredible post-White House career. But it mainly sticks to his doomed administration. And the author tries his best to make the best of that administration. It's not entirely convincing, but it's so good to read. Oh. It might just be the best book on Herbert Hoover that's ever been written. Then we have the best book on its subject ever written, but that's not saying much because it doesn't have much competition. It's this Levi Roach's biography of Ethelred the Unready, which I really, really liked. But try telling that to anybody. Uh-oh. I think we're going to hear the mail. Another John Quincy Adams book. This is the life and times of Congressman John Quincy Adams. It concentrates on his life after the presidency, when he went back to Congress, just take his place among the fellow lawgivers. Then we have, I think that we've seen Leslie Marchand before in this bookshelf tour. This is the selected letters and journals of Lord Byron. We just had a new selected letters and journals volume this year. This is the older one, and it's really good. Marchand really knows Byron. And then we move on to another Byron biography. This is Phyllis Grothkert. This is The Flawed Angel is the subtitle. This one deals a little bit more than most others with Byron's penchant for pederasty. A lot of them leave that out, even in the 20th century. And then this thing, Henry James, A Life by Leon Edel. The size of this thing. Believe it or not, this is the abridged version. Some of you will know this. Leon Edel wrote a 5-volume biography of Henry James, and then his publisher told him, if you ever want to make a dime off this at Christmas time, you better condense it to 1 volume. So you can get the 5 volumes, but the 1 volume is also tremendously good. There's an art involved in condensing your multi-volume biography to 1, and he did it, I recommend it. Then we have this, a thing I can't believe I'm recommending, and yet it was tremendously good. This is Gene Edward Smith's biography of George W. Bush. And it's harsh, but it's fair. It's an amazing presidential biography, probably the best one this president will ever get, while he's still alive and in prime health. It just amazes me still that it happened at all. The next one is a tough sell. Nobody understands why I like it, and I liked it. Now I have other reasons to like it than just its qualities as a book. But when I first read it, I only liked it as a book, and I genuinely did like it as a book. So bear with me here. You don't have to believe me. It's The Other Man by Michael Bergen. This is that's him. He's the himbo star of Baywatch, and he had a passionate love affair with the young woman who went on to marry John F. Kennedy Jr. and die with him in a plane crash. And their love affair overlapped with her marriage, and he got a lot of brickbats for writing the book at all, and there was a lot of snickering. And I think it's a tasteful book, and a heartfelt one, and heartbreaking, and also entertaining. The parts that aren't about their tortured love affair, his anecdotes about them being a male model or about being on TV or whatever, are universally funny. I think he has talent as a writer, and I think he should write another book. Let's just leave it at that. And then we get back to James Boswell. I just can't seem to get enough of this guy. This is the Journals of James Boswell. In a lovely paperback, a nice solid paperback. His journals are amazing. They're like nothing other than the Diary of Samuel Pepys. He's totally self-conscious, totally self-aware, and yet reprehensible and stupid. They're absolutely thrilling to read. You don't want to put them down. It's like munching peanuts. And then we end this shelf where we began. We end this shelf with Edmund Spenser. This is a big Johns Hopkins University Press thing from a century ago. The works of Edmund Spenser, there was a whole shelf of his works, and this is the life. Those whole shelves of works, things, productions that publishers did often came with a life, with a biography, with a volume on biography. I don't have any of the other volumes. I don't have any of the volumes of his poetry, but this life is actually very spirited. It's very good, so I kept it. And there you have it. That is yet another bookshelf tour. So we are slowly getting our way through this one bookshelf, and then we'll move on to another one, but that's sometime in the far future. First, we have to finish this bookshelf, which hasn't happened yet, but with any luck, before we all die. Thank you, BookTube.